Welcome to your best post-race show ever, brought to you by Twisted Tea, although not, because we don't know what to do in our hands. They're packing up, and I don't know where the cooler went. So we don't have Twisted Tea in our hands. It's probably the only disappointment. Otherwise, a pretty fun night here in Chicago. Jason Weigandt, Kellen Brauer. I think the track was too easy-ish at the beginning, and I was like, this is going to be a freeway. Yeah. It got more difficult and more intriguing as the night went on.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see what we got in the last moto earlier on, because it definitely seemed like a freight train, as you said. Like both first motos were kind of like top 7 breakaway and then stay there. And can someone gain a second a lap maybe? Yeah. But it's pretty tough to gain time on, it looked like.
All right, so let's go to an expert on this. This team's rider, Kyle Chisholm, who's been there, done that, seen everything. Let's get his take on how this track and the racing played out. So I want to know, tell the people at home, when you hit the face of one of those jumps and your suspension is too soft, what does it actually feel like?
It just hurts. You're just like, oh, it's just a load on your body, like on your, especially when you're old like me, on all your joints, especially if you have a bad knee. But anyways, yeah, it gets super deep. It gets harsh. So yeah, we're trying to help that, but then there's a lot of outdoorsy. There's more outdoors than jumps like that on the track. So you don't want to fix just that, because then you make it worse everywhere else. Yeah. So you're just trying to find that happy medium of make it work where most of the track is rough, more outdoor style, but then hold up enough on those jumps. So you're kind of still just dealing with it there. Or if you go Supercross, a soft Supercross setup, it's fine on the jumps, but then you're dealing with it in the rough stuff. So it's kind of just whatever your preference is, kind of compensating a little bit.
And one other thing, the track didn't offer much to separate early. I feel like the second moto got rougher and maybe more technical. Was that the way it turned out?
Yeah, so I haven't seen it on TV yet, but man, everywhere where you were just like on the, like where the grass was, where they tilted up, man, I'm sure you guys walked out there. If you just step on the grass, you were just like kind of sinking. Yes. So it was honestly like riding in dry mud, if that makes sense. Your wheels were just like sinking, but it wasn't muddy, but it was just super sticky, like everywhere where the dirt was dark, where the grass was. Yeah. So it was weird, because you'd go from that, and then the clay that they brought in was pretty hard packed, but they watered it so it got tacky, but then it had some shiny slick spots and soft spots. It was tricky. And then obviously at nighttime race, the dirt was dark, so the ruts were super deep because it was so soft, so they kind of had some shadows. And yeah, it was just a lot of variables out there to deal with.
Well, no, that's why we have you on the show, because I think watching, people would be like, the track is too easy. Yeah. No, there were many challenges.
Oh yeah, it was. Like I said, so on TV, it's not gonna. You're not gonna. You just can't see that kind of stuff on TV. But the ruts were super deep. It got probably rougher than I thought it was going to, like after practice. Yeah. The track was very fast, and when the track's fast, like overall, you got to think you're never really like accelerating, because you have a lot of speed, and you're never really braking super hard either. So it didn't get rough as quick, but then they kind of went out and put some like man-made bumps in, like I think before our second practice, and then that just kind of speeds up the process, because now we're hitting them, and those actually created it. So that kind of led to the track getting rougher than it started.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We weren't totally right, but we weren't totally wrong. All right, Chiz, get out of here. Limp out of here. One to go. Oh, no, you got Worlds too?
Yeah, we have a little break, though. So I'm actually going to go see Dr. Alexander Monday after next week. And I don't think it's anything too serious on my knee. I think it made a little cleanup and maybe a little injection or something like that. So I'm hoping for that. And,
But you're in next week.
Yeah, in for next week.
Hopefully
I get to ride this week. I didn't get to ride it all this week. So I'm trying to get a day in and, make it through it.
If there's one man that's going to do all these series and World Supercross, it's Chiz. Yeah. He's just chizzing.
See you next week.
Thank you. That's great analysis there. You folks at home already know what happened. Jet Lawrence turned the tide on Chase Sexton, and I don't think anyone would have been shocked, Kellen, to hear Jet Lawrence wins. But I think the surprising part was, honestly, Sexton was not close.
Yeah, Sexton definitely didn't have it today, and he said in the post-race press conference that he tried to go Supercross as soft as he possibly can, and he should have just went Motocross setup. He just chasing the setup all day long. Said he did a lot of massive changes each session. So chasing the bike from basically qualifying on all the way into the motos. Didn't feel comfortable in that first moto. I think he made another adjustment going to the second moto, and it was a little bit worse, which is why he was even further off of those guys. But he said he was actually happy with the podium, because it felt like a salvage ride kind of day with how off on setup he was, and he was definitely looking forward to going back to more Supercrossy at the Coliseum.
Yeah, because look, this guy, Ken Roxon, who rides for this team with the Progressive sponsorship, not Twisted Tea, he was better than Sexton, and honestly, probably not noticed much. Aaron Plessinger was on the gas today, and he was starting to even creep up on Sexton late.
Yeah, unfortunately for Plessinger, he didn't get starts in either moto, but definitely like worked around Ferrandis, worked around Phil, being up there, like just got up into the mix really quickly. And I think like Chase is saying with that podium salvage ride, like Plessinger could have got him, but he definitely like picked it up a little bit towards the end in that second moto. I don't think it would have mattered for the overall, but definitely AP looked pretty strong. And I think that Sexton was kind of like, dang it, man, like what is going on here? I can't figure it out, but got another week and winner take all next week.
It is, and even with the triple points, Roxon's 10 points behind. If he were to win and Sexton were to finish third, I don't know if Jet finishes second, how that would play out. Roxon's got a shot at it, I guess is what I'm saying, with the triple points. We got to do some math like we've never had to do before, which Jet also tried to do. We'll talk about that later, but let's talk to a couple of 450 riders post-race.
Definitely was lighting that fire for sure. I mean, it's after the weekend before when you do so bad. I mean, people only know you for your last race, really. So I mean, I didn't want to do another weekend like that. So definitely just the motivation from that kind of helped a lot, and working on our starts was a very big thing for us, and ended up proving today with back to a regular kind of start. It definitely helped, but just kind of getting off the gate more consistent, that stuff helped a lot. But yeah, like you said, the loss from last weekend hurt a lot and motivated me a lot more to try and make sure I come out here swinging.
Yeah, I mean, I had similar motos, first and second. My starts weren't great, and I was coming from the back, but I don't know. I just turned something on and started ripping. But sorry. I don't know. I was flowing on this track. I really liked it. I had some really, really good lines. The bike was working really good. I was literally basically on outdoor setting and allergic to the manure out there. But no, I had a good day. As much as I would have liked to finish on the podium. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. As much as I would have liked to finish on the podium, I'm riding good. It's late in the season. A lot of people are, kind of fizzling out, and I'm just getting started. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go into this next round, and I think it's going to be straight Supercross. So we'll probably have to switch the setup back to stiffer settings. But no, overall had a good day. Fourth overall, and I can't complain. I'm riding really good, and we're gonna go work on some starts this week.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was a dream race, really, right? Like, I had to make a couple of passes happen early on, and then me and Jet just went at it. Like, we were really close there for a bit, and then kind of just yo-yoing. He was better than me in one part of the track, and then I'd reel him in back on the other half of the track, and I was trying to figure out, like, I think I got better towards the end because I was able to, like, close the gap in this part but stay close on the back half as well. And I just really kind of had to figure that one out and ended up doing it. So, yeah, it was just a hard battle throughout the whole thing. We were doing quite different lines throughout the entire track. Like, I was basically opposite the entire time. Wherever he was going, I was just the opposite. So I ended up switching to the inside in the sand, and but at the same time, I ate a lot of dirt just because of him hitting some of the inside rollers, especially after the finish line jump over here before going into the sand. I would just get face full of dirt. So it was tough, but I just felt like this little ankle biter chihuahua that didn't let go, So I don't know. It was super fun racing, and I just never gave out till the end. And overall, it was just a dream race. It was awesome. We were going fast, and I think it's the best scenario for the fans, really.
Well, it's if you watch the first one, I almost had the first one too. I kind of I hit a rut that the 250s developed in their first moto, and it kind of off-centered my bike a little bit and kind of tagged a few other riders, kind of pinballed. But the second one I executed pretty good. I had the same gate as I did the first one, so I had 7th gate pick. The first one I had 20th gate pick. The second one I had 7th gate pick, and I picked the same gate. Figure that out. So, but the rut was super gnarly. They were like from here to, they were 30 feet long ruts, and you couldn't see the bottoms of them. They're super dark. So the variables and the dirt composition on the track was gnarly, but it felt good to rip a hole shot, lead little peckerhead jet for a little while, and then then they just blew my doors off and see you later.
Yeah, I'm just. It was nice to come home and race, but from yesterday to today, I didn't really have much speed. I don't really know what it was. I was changing bike setup every session, a lot, like big changes. So I just, straight up was just slower today, and I was not happy to be on the podium, but it was somewhat of damage control. I just wasn't really comfortable. So these guys walked away from me, both Jet first moto and both of them second moto. So definitely have another fire lit under me. It was a good race last weekend, but like Jet said, you're only as good as your last race. So going into next weekend, it's back to Supercross, which is nice. Very excited for that. And I guess we'll see what happens. I'm very motivated, like I said, and birthday weekend next weekend, so it's going to be a fun one.
Congratulations. I'm not quite out of the battle yet, yeah?
That's
right?
next.
No, you're there, 10 points, and there's 75 points up for first place, so you're right in the mix. Right. Don't count out Ken, Ross, and Dan.
Okay, so only one other thing I want to figure out this 450 class. I'm still not sure what Jet Lawrence was doing there. He said in his interview, he's like, I'm going to throw a curveball or whatever it was to the guys in the booth. You won't expect this. It was big brain work. It was doing math. And then I thought, did he think that by letting Kenny win the moto, it was going to shove Sexton back to third overall? Did he think that? It wouldn't. Sexton was going to be third overall regardless. Is that what he was saying?
No, I don't think so. I think he really did realize that there's no point in fighting Kenny to the death for the win because it doesn't change anything. Yeah. Kenny winning the moto going 3-1 doesn't beat Jet's 1-2, so it doesn't beat Jet. And then Kenny was going 3-2 beating Chase already anyway, so I don't know how he was figuring out the math and what, jumping and thinking about it or going down straightaways. I don't know. But he got to that conclusion, and then he said after that his brain was pretty fried and just coasted home after that. So, yeah.
But here's what's significant about that. Then that means that he was feeling significant heat from Roczen and is like, I don't have to deal with this. I'd rather not deal with it. That's how good Kenny was riding.
Yeah, Kenny definitely was very, very strong this week. I think we saw it right from even free practice yesterday. Yep. Looked really racy, really strong. And, he said that this was more of an MXDN feel, and he's been to a lot of those kind of man-made MXDN tracks. So I think the vibes coming in for him already were strong. Yep. Like, he came into this with the mindset of, like, man, this is something I could do well at. And then setup-wise, he said he's kind of hit the mark the first couple rounds, even in the press conference, said, like, he was pretty happy. So I think a lot of things are culminating in the right direction for him to maybe steal this thing in the final round.
Yep, it's definitely possible in the math. All right, 250 class. Oh, Joe Shimoda was so close. Didn't get it. Hunter Lawrence takes the win, and now that puts the points between those two and Hayden Deegan up to play as well going into the finale. $500 grand on the line for them. Let's talk to a couple of 250 riders post-race.
Yeah, the starts obviously helped a lot. Bit of a unique situation in the second moto with Joe and what was going on with his bike. So that one, was a little unique and stuff. So that's kind of pretty much the key moments. He's pretty much seen everything that I saw.
Are you happy with the track, the way it laid out? I would imagine you are after what you just pulled off.
Yeah, it was different for sure. It was, it was very high speed. There was a lot of sections where you couldn't really see. Like, the vision was really, really tricky to see. Like, because the dirt was so dark, and there was some areas out the back that were just, there wasn't really lights. So it was kind of pretty sketchy, especially how high speed we were going. But you just got to, it's super motocross.
For myself, much better day than last weekend. I feel like the racetrack was pretty good. The lights were better, and maybe the track had a little bit more options to pass. I felt like racing might have been a bit better also. Because, the 250 class, we were just shuffled in, and, we were going fast, really fast. So, overall, though, I definitely feel like they made progress this weekend compared to last. All this stuff's new to us. So for myself, just showing up, knowing what I was going to get with my suspension and dealing with it was much better for myself and for the whole weekend.
I just thought, first two races are kind of, I feel like if you can be in the top 3, top 4, maybe, everybody's going to have a chance at the end. So whoever, takes an overall at the end basically kind of takes it all. So I knew it was going to be like this.
Yeah, the track was much different than I think any of us were expecting. definitely a lot more outdoorsy. Like there was no Supercross stuff at all. And dude, I was so glad I actually called Heath or saw Heath like literally right before the van was leaving to come here. I'm like, hey, can you please bring your outdoor stuff for me just in case? Because I don't even have an outdoor setting to ride. And yeah, he brought me his suspension for me. Thank God I had that because I would not have been happy on Supercross stuff this week. It's just like I don't think any of us were expecting it to like not have any Supercross at all. But overall, you know, the track turned out okay. I mean, it was really fast, like extremely fast. Thankfully, they added that wall just to help slow it down a little bit. Yesterday was a bit scary. So me just being so big on the 250, when I saw it was so fast, I was honestly like, no, like, because obviously just me being so big, I'm a little underpowered. So I just try to make up for it my riding today with a 14-14, 15th overall. On paper, obviously, it's not a very good result. But, you know, I made a better stride from last weekend, so that's all I can ask for. You know, obviously in 1 week you're not going to make huge improvements, but I felt like I did make a good jump for this weekend. So rode really hard in both motos. I was strong all the way to the end, and that's all I can ask for. So, yeah, heading into LA next weekend, I'm really happy. Obviously, we're going to have a bit more of a Supercross track. That's what my bike's going to be more set up for. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to next weekend in LA.
Just on the bubble, so all I can really do to win this thing is win. So that's all I'm going to go there to do is try and win. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll be back in Cali this week, so out of Florida, and then probably switch back to Supercross suspension, just looking about how tight it is. You kind of need it just for the turns, really. And, yeah, I think we'll maybe throw and tie both the Supercross tracks together, make it a little bit longer lap time. And, yeah, just kind of throw Supercross stuff back on and just prep normally, really. It'll be nice to really focus on starts. It's kind of hard to work on some stuff when you're stuck down there in Florida. So I should be able to kind of have my own reign on doing my training and what I need to work on, and starts is really all I'm missing.
I'm going to be that person that was repeating what everyone else is saying. It was really fast. I couldn't tell you last time I clicked fifth gear on a 250. It was really cool, though. Definitely a different race to be in, and honestly a different race to watch. As for like a fan perspective, it was definitely cool because we're going speeds that we've never gone. When we're going 70 miles an hour through a roller section, and then they're like, okay, we're going to put a wall in to slow it down, and then we show up today and we're running the same lap times, if not faster, than free practice yesterday, like that's insane. It goes to show you that the practice pace and race pace is two completely different things. But no, it's kind of cool. I like to see more of this. If there's a curveball in for the riders and the teams, like, okay, what type of setup do we have? Like, you can bring like a Supercross setup or like a hybrid setup or full-blown outdoors. You never know what you're going to get because they could add anything they want at any given time. So, I mean, I had my Supercross stuff on, and we were just doing clickers softer, and I felt like it was okay. I probably should have had my outdoor stuff on, but that's the gamble. I mean, everyone was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'm going to make it work. Because growing up, you run what you brought. So that's what we did.
Okay, so there was our thoughts from 250 riders. You were at the press conference and the media scrum. First of all, give me the vibe there for Hunter Lawrence to bounce back. That has to feel great.
It did feel great. I asked him specifically if this was the most like satisfied he's felt leaving a race, because it's a 1-1. He didn't go 1-1 at any outdoor national this year. And he said, honestly, not really. He's like, it doesn't matter if I went 1-2, 2-1, as long as I walked out here with the 50 points, that's all that really matters. Yeah. So it wasn't like a complete day for him, but he's happy to leave with the points. And I think the vibe was, I just got out of here with what I needed to get done.
Yeah, and what this proves is, I think one of the questions coming in, was there going to be a big exhale? Was it going to be difficult for the Lawrence brothers to get up for these playoff races? Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line. They've already won a lot of money. But it's true with the bounce back. Clearly, they want to win this thing as well going into next week. Hayden Deegan is also in it, though, in addition. And I just want to throw this out, everybody. Remember Brian Deegan, the Ghost Ride? That was at the LA Coliseum. Hayden has said, if or when I win a Supercross, I'm going to do the Ghost Ride. Can you just imagine, everybody, if Hayden Deegan wins $500,000, the World Championship, and the race, and Ghost Rides in the stadium where his dad won? And by the way, I'm hearing, I don't know if the Coliseum's going to be back next year. He's got one shot at it.
One shot.
And the title. Oh, this is pretty wild.
It will be very wild, and man, the crowd would be going absolutely bonkers. I mean, even here when he was leading the first moto, you know, the noise was following him around very loudly for sure. So, yeah, I think people will enjoy seeing it for sure if it happens.
Did he have any insight? He was good, just not quite as good as Joe or Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said he was just a little bit off, kind of, I think, again, with setup. A lot of people talked about setup. I asked him about the tire thing, like, because I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast at all, but both of the motos, he decided to come in after the sight lap and change the rear tire. All the star riders did it the first moto. Only Deegan did it the second moto. And he said that the team was just looking for a little bit more traction off the gate. And that was really it. There was no compound change or anything like that. So didn't get the whole shot either moto. Kind of odd, but was up there and just seemed to be like a fraction off of what Shimoda and Lawrence are putting together. So I don't think he was like too bummed. He looked happy enough to be on the podium and obviously sits in a good position to maybe still win it at the end, but just a little bit off tonight.
Yep. Okay, so that's all to play for them. A tough break for Tom Vial, who broke his shifter off or bent it in second gear.
I think broke it clean off and hit a top block pretty hard. It was going through the switchbacks before the sand and then clocked it really bad, and then 2 corners later was rolling off the track. So
yeah, second gear, you can limp around most tracks, but at this track you're going to be going half speed down that super fast front straight. So that's our 250 class. That's the scenario, triple points, all the money in the line next weekend. That's going to be wild. We will be here with our Twisted Tea post-race show, just hopefully with some Twisted Teas. See you next Saturday.